Oftentimes, the word conference conjures up memories of mega lecture halls, sit-and-get sessions, and a plethora of information directed at individuals. While the hope may be that those conferences provide an opportunity to generate and share knowledge so that those shared experiences ultimately impact behavior linked to improved results, it's not often a reality. Is it possible for such large-scale gatherings to offer transformative learning experiences for groups or individuals? Could such events be restructured to allow for a system-wide strategic planning tool enabling diverse and potentially conflicting groups to find common ground for constructive action? Enter the Future Search Conference, developed from the research conducted by facilitators Weisbord and Janoff in the late 1980s. The Future Search Conference has emerged as a method to move a diverse organization decisively through changes towards a shared vision of the future by providing a representation of the whole system in one room, conditions under which diverse organizations will cooperate in complex situations, and a participative and inclusive strategic planning method that uses the past, present, and future of an organization to find common ground for constructive action planning in which all participants take responsibility and participate. The Future Search Conference is a break from the traditional strategic planning methods that involve a chosen few to a democratic approach that involves real-time, large group, systemic change planning. The successful execution of the Future Search Conference begins with a steering committee of diverse stakeholders with a minimum of 2 months lead time to prepare, select topics, and brief participants in advance. As the event draws closer, the committee must encourage whole system participation in the conference by inviting a cross-section of all parties invested to participate. This should include those with authority, resources, information, expertise, and need. The number of participants should not exceed 64. In addition, the steering committee must be able to create an environment that allows participants to experience the whole system before acting on individual segments. Participants must be willing to participate for the duration of the event, and once the conference is underway, the facilitator and steering committee must ensure that participants know what is expected of them and that they are able to report results, that the focus remains on finding common ground and looks towards future action, and that the event grants individuals the ability to take responsibility for their own learning and action. Upon successful completion of planning for the event, the Future Search Conference takes shape as a 3-day affair. On day 1, teams begin by focusing on the past as they share highlights and milestones, construct key event timelines, and share stories about each with implications regarding their work. They then transition to focus on the present by looking at external trends and their impact on the organization. They rank and identify the most important trends pertaining to their topic. On day 2, teams continue to focus on the present as they respond to trends to assess current actions and identify what they want to do in the future. Team members own actions by reporting on what they are proud of and sorry about with respect to the topic in order to reveal organizational strengths and weaknesses. When teams return in the afternoon, they focus on the future by creating ideal scenarios as if the vision has occurred already. They then identify and post themes that are common to all. Disagreements are acknowledged, not discussed, and the process locates a launching point for action. On day 3, the final day of the conference, teams begin the morning session by discussing and agreeing on common ground in a manner that helps groups to visualize new behaviors for joint business endeavors. The final afternoon session involves action planning. Champions across the organization sign up for action plan implementation. If done well, the Future Search Conference will allow organizations to discover, invent, and propose possible, preferable, and prospective futures, explore alternative futures in order to examine and create a preferred future, and develop action plans built on strong framework that connects institutional values and actions in new organizational relationships. This process creates mutually supportive, attainable working tasks for groups and individuals, as well as a more democratic, informed, and reflective enterprise that helps launch the transition from a bureaucratic to a learning organization. While the Future Search Conference strategy allows diverse and conflicting groups to find common ground within the organization so that constructive action can take place, careful consideration should be given by the organization before beginning the process to ensure that all elements for success are in place. The following requirements may not be manageable for all organizations. There is a large time frame requirement, 2 to 3 days, of a great number of employees that may impact the availability of all volunteers to participate without interruption. Given the number of potential participants, the event can be logistically challenging. The engagement of an experienced facilitator is required to achieve the best possible outcome, and it can be difficult to gain complete commitment of all parties involved. It's also important to remember that the Future Search Conference cannot make up for weak leadership, reconcile differences in value, or convince skeptics. The Future Search Conference was developed from decades of research on effective group problem solving and planning. As such, it is a recommended option for organizations looking to create an environment where everyone is involved in improving their own system.